Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go over probably one of my favorite manufacturers in the kayak industry, and in my opinion, one that has probably the best, most versatile lineup in all of kayaking. And I'm talking about Bonafide Kayak. So Bonafide Kayak in 2024, you've seen a lot of changes. They brought a lot of innovation, and it's really brought to a company which, in my opinion, in the past few years has been a little stagnant, but they really came out swinging last year in 2023 and even more so in 2024. So I'm gonna go over the background of Bonafide Kayaks, have you learn a little bit more about how they started. I'll talk about where they're at today, obviously, and then I'll talk about a little bit where I see them going in the future and my opinions. I'll give you some pros and cons as well toward the end of the video, so stay tuned for that, but let's get right into it. Okay, so Bonafide Kayak, it was founded in 2016 by Luther Cyphers. Now, Luther Cyphers is also the same person behind Yak Attack. So two really good quality companies. He just got to a point, I guess, where he just wanted to make kayaks on his own, and he really hit some home runs. So after being founded in 2016, they later merged in 2019 with a company called Big Adventure. So Big Adventures is over both native and liquid logic kayak, and it really kind of performed a kayak super company, if you will. Now, they're still manufactured in Fletcher, North Carolina today, but they just operate under a bigger umbrella. Primarily pre-2023, Bonafide Kayak really specialized, in my opinion, on your big, wide lake fishing setups. I'm talking about the SS series, talking about even the EX123 and the RS117. While they can be kind of hybrid river and creeks, they're really primarily built for calm flat water or even slow moving water. But that changed in 2023 with the introduction of the RVR 119. So the RVR 119, in my opinion, is the best river and creek fishing kayak out there. If you want to check out the review that we did, me and my wife, on the RVR 119 versus the Crescent Shoaly, I'll put a link up here in the corner if you want to check that one out. But looking forward here, even in 2024, they've come out with the Skiff, or the SKF 11.7, which was broadcast at ICAST 2023 initially, and then also bringing out the PWR 129, which in my opinion is one of the best values on the entire kayak market. And I'm comparing it to, say, a NuCanoe Unlimited and a lot of other kayaks in that space. But the PWR 129 is built for that power, that motorized in the back or motorized on the bow or both. And there's a lot of features on that kayak to where it makes your DIY, your do-it-yourselfer, really a lot more convenient to do wiring in the hull, to install things without needing a professional to do so. And again, what I feel, and again, these are my opinions, but I feel it's the most complete lineup in the kayak industry. Their entire lineup, again, I'll put here on the screen. And if you want to check more of these out, I'm going to have links below to our website, ozarkmtc.com. You can check out, we get all the information as far as warranties, weight capacities, and usage, and we also do review videos on that website as well if you want to check that out. So as with most kayak companies do, and one of the favorite things that people like to talk about is color schemes. So Bonafide, in my opinion, they keep it simple but really do a great job on these colors. So anything from your grays into your steel blues, and they have one of the best camo colors in the industry, in my opinion, where they kind of blend a little bit of the brown and the cream with black. It just, they're all really, really great colors. You don't see as many of the Venoms, which they still make in certain models, but you're not going to see them overall as much. And that's that kind of highlighter green, which really does pop nice on the water, but wasn't the more popular color out there. And that's one of the things that I've always appreciated about Bonafide and Native, again, under that big adventure umbrella. But for this video, we're really focusing on Bonafide specifically. And the thing that impressed me the most about them and talking with them is they listen to their customers. They listen to their pro staffs, and the pro staffs that they employ are a lot of your content creators. So you'll see Chad Hoover in a video, you'll see Gene Jensen or Fluke Master in a video, and they really do a good job of putting these kayaks through the test and communicating with Bonafide and Native, obviously, but with Bonafide, they really, really listen. So that gives you, the consumer, a better quality made kayak. They think about the little bitty things here and there with different features and benefits, and then it gives you what I call a better value proposition. So value is all of the kayaks in that space are going to be relatively the same price, but what you're going to get with that is you're going to get a lot more value out of this price, is where you've got the through hull wiring, you've got internal storage, you have deep, large tank wells for storage behind the seat. You have really, really comfortable seating, high and low seating, anchor options, motor options, you name it. If there's any kind of need that you have for a fishing kayak, chances are you come across a Bonafide kayak that will fit those needs, which I love. So if you've locked someone in a room full of Bonafide kayaks, no matter what they're needing to do with it, you're probably going to have them be able to pick something out that's going to fit that need and be extremely, extremely happy with it. So again, just talking about where they're at today, and I talked about the value, I talked about listening to customers, but moving forward, it gives them, in my opinion, it gives them a nice foundation, a nice platform to leapfrog off of and go into your more complicated setups, because that's really where the fishing industry is going. Now, if you're looking for recreational, again, under Big Adventures, you have Liquid Logic kayaks. Native also makes some decent recreational kayaks, but Liquid Logic with the Kiowa 12, the Kiowa 10.5, and a lot of other your creek and whitewater kayaks. There's so many different value in that family. But again, with Bonafide, with the fishing kayak industry, you're looking into more customizing options, more motorized options. And honestly, I think you're getting to a point right now to where your motor kit is going to be shipping with kayaks in the future. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Bonafide or Native to be one of the first ones to do that. Again, this is nothing that I've heard specifically, but to have it pre-wired, to have the plates mounted onto the kayak, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in the future, and I would really love to see that, honestly. So with Bonafide Kayak, again, US made, they have strong roots here. Even their seats are hand sewn right here in the USA. I'm gonna give kind of my thoughts and opinions. I'm gonna give some pros and cons to Bonafide Kayak specifically in 2024, and I'm not gonna really base these off of what I think is gonna happen, but we're gonna just talk about where they're at today. So the first pro I'm going to go over is really, number one, you got a company that really listens to their customers. I know it just kind of went over that, but that's a huge pro to me. That keeps you in that innovation factor. That keeps you in that relevancy in the fishing market, because needs change. There's a huge debate all over the country on forward-facing sonar, but honestly, if more people are doing that, that's where companies are going to go. Bonafide Kayak, again, they're listening to their customers. They have pro staffs and content creators that take these out, that are just loading them up with motors and all kinds of rigging. And you know, whether it's Bonafide product or a competitor's product. There's a lot of different ways you can go with these kayaks, and Bonafide kind of thinks of that quite a bit. Pro number 2 is there's some of the most stable kayaks in the industry also, and I'm talking about that tri-hull, that hybrid catamaran style hull design. And what I mean by that is you've got that nice little keel line that goes down the middle, and then you've also got those large pontoons on the sides. You really get those in an extreme way with the SS series, with the SS107 and the SS127. You do get it a little bit with the RVR, but since that's designed to be a river and creek fishing kayak, you don't need them as much stability where you're sacrificing your maneuverability, and they do a really good job of maintaining both in that kayak. And then with the PWR 129, which is new for this year, you've kind of got a mixture of the two, and the two I'm talking about obviously is the RVR 119, the river fishing kayak, and the SS 127. So with the PWR, you get a kayak that has lake capability, lake stability, but with a little bit more of a rocker from front to back and a little bit more of a bottom hull design like you see in the RVR. So you're getting a lot less drag, and when you're motorizing that kayak, you're going to get a lot more speed, and we've already seen some people do that on YouTube here with speed test. If you haven't seen the video already, TG Kayak and Canoe, a guy out of Texas, he did a speed test with a Torpedo on the back of the PWR. Definitely check that out and see how fast he actually got that going. But I was kind of expecting that. He was the first one I saw to actually do the speed test, but the speed on this kayak is quite a bit more than a lot of the other competition in that spot there. So pro number 3 is going to be value. What does Bonafide bring to the table? What are you getting for the money that you're paying? And with Bonafide, I think it's one of the best value propositions in the entire industry. So I'm talking about the amount of features built into the kayak, whether it's wiring plates, whether it's removable gear pod storage for electronics or depth finders, or just dry storage. Large tank wells, the PWR, you get the flip down rudder, you get foot control steering from the factory. These are things that not a lot of companies are doing, and if they are doing it, honestly, they're just not doing it as well as Bonafide. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff is new and it's very modern. So again, 2 or 3 years down the road, we could be having a completely different discussion. But today in 2024, it holds a tremendous value to look at Bonafide Kayak. And my final pro is going to be, and this is something that if you know what it is, you'll understand, but I'll kind of explain it just a little bit. Bonafide Kayaks, from my experience, has some of the best secondary stability ratings in the entire kayak industry. And secondary stability is obviously not your initial wiggle, that initial, when it's flat, but when you lean it just a little bit and then it catches, that allows you to lean into turns when you're paddling. It allows you to lean into turns if you got a motor pushing you with a pretty good speed and you need to turn. It really gives you maybe a little bit more versatile kayak. And it's what you would expect by seeing a lot of the right angles on the bottom and on the sides. It allows you to lean into them without feeling like the whole boat is going to tip over. So it gives you that added stability while not sacrificing your maneuverability, how it paddles, how it moves through the water with the majority of their kayaks. Okay, so going over the cons. So the cons are really going to be a little nitpicky, but they are there to, they're there, so it's worth noting. So if you're looking at many different manufacturers and you still haven't quite found out yet, stability. So I talked about how stability factors into the pros. Well, that obviously with any kayak can give you a little bit of the con, and the con being too much stability is going to really weight that kayak down in the water. And I'm not talking about all of their kayaks, but majority of their kayaks do have that tri-hull design. That does make it a little bit slower than the competition while also making it more stable. So your stability and your maneuverability are usually going to be that balancing act. That's if you're If you're given to one, you're usually taken away from the other side of it. But it's worth noting, if you're wanting something extremely stable, but also something that's going to really maneuver really quickly, again, they're not whitewater boats, but you still want to consider those factors on how it paddles, how it moves through the water when looking at your kayak. And number two, and probably something that I hear a lot about online, I think it's a little bit too focused on, but your weight capacities. Your weight capacities with Bonafide and Old Town and Native and a lot, there's a few other companies that do that out there, but you have your weight capacity and what we call the usable weight capacity. So the weight of the kayak does not factor into the weight capacity, it has to be added in. So if you get a kayak that has a 500-pound weight capacity, but it weighs 100 pounds, you need to turn around and subtract that 100 pounds off of that 500. Am I a big fan of that? No, I'm not. But at least they're forward in explaining that on their website. And, again, Old Town does the same thing with their usable weight capacity. Bonafide on their website will have an asterisk next to their weight capacities on how it's figured, and Native does the same thing. But that is going to be a controversy, I think, for a few more years on how weight capacities are factored. Not every company does it the same way. Do I think they should? Absolutely. And I think they should be realistic or honest with it. And number three, and again, this, I wouldn't call it a huge con, but they only have at this time one pedal drive kayak. So if you're looking for a pedal drive kayak and something that isn't as big as of a battleship as the P127 from Bonafide is, Bonafide as I believe they came out with that in 2022, I believe. And with the P127, it's a great kayak. It maneuvers a lot better than kayaks similar to its size, but not everybody wants a kayak that large. And if you're wanting a pedal drive, they do not at this time have a smaller pedal drive option. There's other manufacturers out there. I know Native, which is under that same company umbrella, does the Slayer Propel 10, which is very lightweight and shorter. But as of right now, Bonafide just has the one pedal drive option. So guys, what I think is probably the most versatile and complete lineup in all of kayak industry with Bonafide kayaks. This is where we're at 2024. We're hitting the ground running. Some of these companies are really rolling out some innovation and still working on things in the background to release in the future. That's going to be really exciting, and it's going to benefit me and you both. So with Bonafide Kayak, again, they cater to the river and creek fishermen and the lake fishermen as well. So that's what I mean by complete lineup. If you want to check out more about the lineup or each one of the kayaks in Bonafide lineup or other manufacturers, check out our links below, and then also ozarkmtc.com. If you want to purchase accessories, we do free shipping on a lot of things. And if you want to get some information on kayaks as well, check those links out below. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.